All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live right here on the Ramonepreston Show. Today is Monday, Millionaire Monday. Good afternoon, good afternoon. For those of you that are coming on, please do me a quick favor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, and tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know your boy Ramon and the Ramonepreston Show and my squad. We're live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to be talking to you about my top 3 do's and don'ts for starting a business. So if you're ready to crush it this fourth quarter of 2022, if you want to make sure that you are 100% prepared to move into 2023 with momentum in your personal, professional, and financial life, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 do's and don'ts for starting a business. So hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know the Ramonepreston Show. We are live right here from the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. This is the day that the Lord has made. I'm already rejoicing and I'm glad in it. You know why? Because today is Millionaire Monday, October the 3rd, 2022, and we are officially in the fourth quarter of this calendar year, and there's so much that you and I can do just within the next 3 months that remain in 2022. But now, if you're going to do some things that are going to count, if you're going to crush it, if you're going to make a impact and make a splash, you're going to have some information. And there are some things that you're going to have to do, and there's some things that you don't want to do. And I'm going to be sharing with you today my top 3 do's and don'ts for starting a business. My top 3 do's and don'ts for starting a business. So if you're coming on live, I want you to put in the comments what city you're watching me from. I want to know what city you're watching me from today. I want to give a shout out to all of you who are a part of our community. Those of you that are members of our Millionaire Blueprint, our online business and financial training program, I want to give a shout out to you. Thank you so much for trusting my team and I to educate you on business and finances. If you are a member or a mentee of our coaching program that we call our Millionaire Mentorship Program, I want to say congratulations to you. Thank you for trusting my team and I to work with you on a one-on-one level. And if you're just a part of our community, whether you follow me on social media, whether you just engage in our content that we post on social media, or maybe you just found me somewhere on the internet and you decided to just chime in and to listen to what I'm saying today for the first time, I want to say thank you and welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. Just in case you don't know, now you know. My name is Ramonepreston. I'm the host of the Ramonepreston Show, and every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, like today, October the 3rd, 2022, I show up here on this show literally in the middle of the day, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, and I show up to just share information with you that I know can help you start, structure, and scale any business or any income stream. So whether you are a W-2 employee, whether you're a 1099 contractor, whether you are just a freelancer, a side hustler, or a legitimate business owner, what I share on this show is information that can show you how to start the right business structure, how to set it up the correct way, how to build your infrastructure out with systems and processes, and how to scale it at some point. So today I want to talk to you about my top 3 do's and don'ts for starting a business. My top 3 do's and don'ts for starting a business. These are my top 3 do's and don'ts. Okay? So I've got some do's and I've got some don'ts for starting a business, and I'm going to give you my top 3. So if you're taking notes, I want you to write down all 3 of my do's and all 3 of my don'ts. And while you're listening to me, if you have any questions, feel free to drop the questions in the comments. My team and I will do our best to pull those questions, to answer those questions so that you can get more game for whatever it is you're doing today. All right, so my top 3 do's and don'ts for starting a business. Number 1, I'm gonna give you my do's first. Number 1, do it right the first time. Okay, do it right the first time. This is my first do out of my top 3 do's and don'ts for starting a business. Number 1, do it right the first time. Let me tell you something. When I talk to an entrepreneur, a business owner, and they do it right the first time, it almost always saves them a lot of stress, a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money when they do it right the first time. So what do you mean, do it right the first time? What I mean is, if you know you plan on building a successful business and you know you want to have an enterprise that's made up of multiple things. So you might have plans to be an investor, to be in real estate. You might have plans to buy businesses. You might have plans to go outside of your scope of what you're doing today. Because a lot of people, when they start businesses based on what they're doing at that time or what they feel like is making money. But that might not be the main business you're going to be in 20 years from now, or 5 years from now, or 2 years from now. You might just start a business based on what's making you money. So what I like to recommend is for you to do it right the first time. This is one of the reasons why you always hear me talk about starting a holding company. Not necessarily because you might be at a point that you can get the most out of a holding company. That's why a lot of people might tell you it ain't no need to start a holding company because you might not be big enough, or you might not have any assets, or you might not really need the headache of dealing with the complexity of having a holding company and other companies. But for me, I want to do it right the first time. I'm one of those people where I want you to tell me what I need to do in order to become a millionaire. And then when you show me what I need to do, let me decide if I want to do everything right now or if I want to take my time. But I want to at least know what the bigger picture looks like. So this is my first do. The first thing you should do for starting your business is you should do it right the first time. So that means if you know you want to have a business, even if your business is in a specific area, you still should start a holding company. I'm going to recommend that. And then you start an operating company for the thing that you're going to do today. So that if at any point you decide not to do that thing, it's not going to end your business. It just ends that particular operation because you still got your holding company. And I teach a lot of strategies to show people how to use their holding company to leverage whatever it is that they want to do through an operating business. But that's for another time, okay? So my first do is do it right the first time. Do it right the first time. So if you're looking at starting a business before the year is out because you want to go into 2023 with a business set up, you want to have a little momentum, you want to make sure you got all your I's dotted, your T's crossed, your ducks in a row, I'm telling you, go ahead and do it right the first time. And what is the right way to do it? Well, for me, the right way would be for you to start your holding company, LLC, first, then for you to start your operating company, LLC, second, if that's the direction that you plan on going. Now, if you already own an operating LLC, but you don't own a holding company, you can always start a holding company and just at some point transfer the ownership of your operating company to your holding company so that you can do it right, whether it's the first time or this time. See, when I first started my first LLC, I didn't start it this way. I didn't do it right the first time because there's a lot of information that I know now I didn't know. When did I start my first business? 2006 was when I started my first business. So we're talking about what, 16 years ago? So 16 years ago, I didn't know then what I know now. If I knew then what I know now, I would have started a holding company. Then I would have started an operating company. And the truth is, even though I didn't know a whole lot of what I know now, I knew enough to know I needed to start a business because I needed to run a lot of my business activity that I had going on through a real business so that I could leverage that business and take advantage of what businesses give you the opportunity to take advantage of. So my first do for starting a business is you need to do it right the first time. You need to do it right the first time. And again, what I mean by that is you need to start a holding company so that you can have your parent company. This is your parent company, right? This is your holding company. And then you start your operating company. This is going to be an operating company here. So this will be a subsidiary. And again, if you already own an operating company, but you don't own a holding company, you could still start a holding company and at some point transfer the ownership of this to your holding company. It's not a difficult process. It's something that you should do, especially if you want to do it right the first time. I'm so grateful because one of my clients that I've been working with for a couple months, I talked with him maybe about a week or two ago because he wants me to start another holding company for him. And he was just telling me that he told me, he said, listen, Mr. Preston, my CPA told me to thank you because you made his job easier because of how you helped me structure my business. Because I think he has about 4 LLCs, but he owned all 4 of them. And so what we did was we structured a holding company for him, and then we put the ownership of the other 3 under the holding company to make it easier. And even his CPA was telling him to tell me thank you because he did it right. It wasn't the first time, but it was that time. So I want you to take that first do, and I want you to do it right. Paul on YouTube is asking the question, which is the best state to start a holding company? Well, really, it just depends on who you're listening to. Because for me, the best state to start a holding company ideally would be the state that you're going to be doing business in. But again, it is really going to come down to who you're listening to, because somebody's going to tell you Wyoming, somebody else is going to tell you Nevada, somebody else is going to tell you Delaware. Now, are those 3 states, particularly Wyoming, are they favorable when it comes to certain charging orders? Yes. Any lawyer, any expert that starts and structures businesses will tell you that there are certain advantages you're going to have in those states. But what I also know is a lot of people who start holding companies in states like Wyoming or Nevada, they are either real estate investors who don't want to be known, or they're just business owners who are looking for not just protection, but they're looking for anonymity. They want to be anonymous. So that really defeats the purpose if you want to build a brand and you want to be known. So that shouldn't be a reason to start a holding company in another state to be anonymous when you want to build a brand and you want to be known. So this is why I talk to a lot of my clients and tell them, if you're looking at starting a business, any kind of business, and you want to build a brand, and you have to be the brand ambassador, and you're going to have to be the face of your company, it don't matter what state you start your business in, because they gonna know you. You're not going to be anonymous. Like for me, my business is called Ramonepreston Enterprises. Ramonepreston is the brand ambassador. Ramonepreston is the brand. It don't matter what state I'm in. If something goes wrong, I'm still going to be liable. So you got to think about those things when you're looking at what state you're going to start your holding company in. Now, again, when you do start a holding company in another state, but you live in if you started in Wyoming, let's say, and you live in a state like Georgia or any other state, whenever you get ready to do business in that state, you're still going to have to file paperwork in that state in order to do business. So sometimes when you're just a new business and you're starting a new business and you're trying to build a brand and you know you're going to have to get known and market yourself, sometimes you just waste a lot of time doing all that sophisticated stuff that really doesn't apply to you like it would a different entity or a different type of business that might not need to be known and might be okay being anonymous. So that's just my own personal opinion about it. All right. So number one, out of my top 3 do's, the first one is what? Do it right the first time. Okay. Number 2, my second do. The second thing you should do for starting a business. This is my top 2, my top 3. Number 2 is do it where you are. This kind of answers the question that somebody just asked me, don't it? It kind of answers the question, because this answer is kind of like twofold. So this is my second do. Number 1 is for you to do it right the first time. Number 2, do it where you are. Now, this is not just a geographic answer, okay? This don't mean you just need to do it where you are in terms of the state you in or the county or the city. When I say do it where you are, I'm talking about where are you in the business cycle, in the life cycle of your career. So don't wait until you are at a certain financial point to start a business. Okay, don't wait until you feel like you've hit a certain season in your life that it makes sense, because the longer you wait to start your business, okay, the longer you wait to start your business, the longer you wait to start your business, the longer you drag out the process of learning how to actually operate that business. So if you can start doing business where you are, meaning that if you do live in a certain location, then you need to figure out how to do business in that location geographically. But also doing it where you are is about doing it where you are in your career, in the life cycle of your professional career. So that means if you work on a job, you shouldn't wait until you retire to start a business. If you work in a job, you shouldn't wait until it feels like, or it seems like, or it is like this is the perfect time. No, do it where you are. That means if you have to work a job and then start a business, and then when you're not working your job, you can work your business on the side until your business has enough momentum that it can take care of itself and maybe take care of you, that's fine. Procrastination kills your creativity. Procrastination, it just drags out the process of you getting closer to seeing success, because instead of you doing business where you are, you think there's going to be this magical moment where you are in a certain location around certain people with a certain amount of money and a certain amount of opportunities, and you're going to just be able to start a business and crush it. It don't work like that. Most of the times you got to scrap it out, and you got to work through a lot of ups and downs and a lot of challenges in order to even make your business make sense. Most businesses don't even make money. Most businesses don't even break even. Most businesses lose money, and most of them don't even generate any positive revenue. They're just taking money that they have saved up and they're just putting it in their business. Or they might be working a job and they're just financing their business with their employment money, and they never really make money through their business. But you still have to do it where you are. So that means you have to make the decision that if you know you want to be in business, you know there's something that God has given to you to share with the world through a business, you need to package it in a business, and you need to start learning the ins and outs of running that business and operating that business now, so that you can start gaining some momentum. Okay? That's number 2. Do it where you are. Number 3, my third do. Do it quickly. Do it quickly. What do I mean by do it quickly? Well, do it quickly. That means you shouldn't wait until 2023 to start a business. I was just talking to somebody a couple weeks ago and they asked me that question. They was like, should I wait till 2023 to start my business, or should I start my business now? I'm like, why would you wait to 2023? Well, I might not be able to do business until 2023. So it don't mean you can't start it now. Even if you just post, like just set the start date to 2023, get it started now. Get your QuickBooks set up now. Get your CRM set up now. At least get things set up, and then the money that you're spending this year as startup costs, you can write off, especially if you pay taxes, okay? So you want to do it quickly. There's a saying that is very popular today, and that saying is that speed is the new big. Have you ever heard of that? Speed is the new big. And what they mean by that is people who are in business that move fast, that move quickly, are really the ones who are winning. So when you can do things quickly, it builds a muscle. It helps discipline you to do things quickly in other areas. So for example, if you know you got a business idea, you know you got something that you could go sell, you have an opportunity to monetize and make money, but you just procrastinating. You just waiting for the right time. You just waiting to get a loan. You waiting to get a credit card. You waiting to get a grant. Just do it. Just do it. Because the quicker you can get to doing it, the quicker you're going to get to seeing some results. Okay? So those are my top 3 do's. All right? I'm giving you my top 3 do's and don'ts for starting a business. Those are my top 3 do's. All right? I hope you wrote them down. Let me give them to you one more time. Okay? Number 1, do it right the first time. That's number 1. Okay? Number 2, do it where you are. And number 3, do it quickly. So those are my top 3 do's, for starting a business. If you plan on starting a business, I don't care when you thought you planned on starting it. Number 1, do it right the first time. Start your holding company and then start your operating company. If you already have a LLC as an operating company, you can still start a holding company and just transfer the ownership of it to your holding company once you get your holding company started and structured, okay? Number 2, do it where you are. Don't wait until you're in this great place in life that you feel like you can start focusing on it. Every day you wait to start your business is a day you lose momentum. Every day you wait to start your business is the day you lose the opportunity to learn more about your business. Every day you wait to put your business out there in the marketplace is the day you wait to see something happen for you and for your business. And number 3, do it quickly. Stop putting it off. Stop dragging the process out. Most people who start businesses that come from the workforce, meaning that you're used to being employees, you're used to working 40 hours a week, you're used to getting off at a certain time and you ain't doing no work until tomorrow. That's what you most of the time bring into your business. So when you used to working 40 hours a week as an employee, and then you start a business, and then you think you're going to take that same 40-hour work week mentality into running a business, you're going to realize that you're getting slaughtered by your competition, because you can't work 40 hours a week and think you're going to build a successful business. It just don't work like that. You're going to have to put a whole lot of time, a whole lot of energy, a whole lot of money, a whole lot of effort into your business, and it's going to be a whole lot more than what you thought when you first started. So do it right, do it where you are, and do it quickly. Those are my 3 do's for starting a business. All right? I told you I got do's and don'ts. So I'm going to give you my 3 don'ts. All right? Number 1, don't. This is good. Don't do it just for a purpose. This is where a lot of people mess up at. Don't do business just for a purpose. Don't do business just for a purpose. So when I hear people say, oh, I just do this because I love it and I'm just so passionate about it and I've just always done it and I just love to cook, I love to drive, I love to design, I love to clean, I love all these things and I just do it because I love people. Well, guess what? I am telling you, don't do it just for a purpose. It don't mean you can't have a purpose behind doing business, but you can't just do it for a purpose. You have to do it for a profit. The purpose of having a business, the purpose of having a business is to profit. You have a business because you want to profit. Why do you want to profit? Well, you want to profit because you want freedom. You want to be free. You want financial freedom. You may want to be a millionaire. You may want to create a legacy for your family. So it's more than you just having this purpose to do it and there's no profit in the purpose. Okay? So when I say don't do it just for a purpose, I don't mean you can't have a purpose. We all have a purpose behind running a business, behind operating a business, behind starting a business, but you can't do it just for a purpose. Somewhere along the lines of you doing business, there has to be an intention for a profit. Does that make sense? You have to have some type of intention to make a profit. You can't just be around here thinking, oh, I'm going to do a business. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to run my business. No, you're going to run it into the ground if you don't have the intention to make a profit. You can't just be doing it for a purpose and thinking, well, I just want to help people. I just want to serve people. I just want to, be passionate to do this. And, I just have this heart to blah, 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 blah. That don't mean nothing because none of that is going to pay no bills. Okay? Now, if you are starting a charity, if you're starting a foundation, if you're starting a ministry, if you're starting some type of community service project, we understand why you're doing it just for a purpose and you're not doing it for a profit. That's why they're called non-profit organizations, not for profit, because the primary purpose behind it is just to serve. But when you're starting a business, when you make the decision that you want to go into business, yes, there is a purpose behind the business. Yes, you have some type of service you want to provide outside of money, but you can't do it just for a purpose. You have to have an intention for this business to make a profit. Your business is going to run off profits. Your business is not going to run off purpose. That's not how businesses run. And I think a lot of people who get into business, they forget that their purpose cannot be the main purpose of their business. You got to know how to separate yourself from your business. Like, I'm a preacher, I'm a minister, I'm a man of God. I serve in the church. I have done that for 22 years now, right? But I know how to separate a lot of that from my business to make sure that my business makes a profit. Even though I have to serve certain purposes in my personal life, in my ministry life, and even in my professional life, but my business as an entity needs to make money because that entity needs to be fed profits in order for that entity to survive. Otherwise, you just got a hobby. Otherwise, you just doing stuff on the side. Otherwise, don't call it a business, call it a hobby. Don't call it a business, call it just something you want to do. Just call it you passing time. Just call it a charity. Call it whatever you need to call it. But if you ain't making profits and you don't have the intention of this business entity to make profits, don't call it a business, because the business should be intentional on making profits. So my first thing not to do is to don't do it just for a purpose. You have to also do it for a profit. Okay? Number two, my second don't My second don't do it. Whew, this is big too. Don't do it over leveraged. This is my second don't for starting a business. Don't do it over leveraged. Don't do it over leveraged. See, this is where I disagree with a lot of people who start businesses, and the first thing they want to do, when they start a business is get credit, get debt, or they want to work on their ideas or their products. I'm going to show you why this is detrimental to your business. Don't do business over leverage. So when you first start your business, you might not be in a position that you can get credit, you can get debt, you can get a loan. Your intention shouldn't just be to start a business because you want to get funding. This is where I disagree with a lot of people who focus on that. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not saying not to get credit or not to get debt. I'm saying don't do it over leveraged. So I'm not saying you shouldn't use debt and credit as leverage. What I'm saying is you shouldn't over leverage yourself. Because I know a lot of people, I did it. This is why I can talk about it, because I did it. Because I was ignorant, I was undisciplined, I didn't know a whole lot about building a business with sales and marketing. So guess what I did? I started a business, and all I was trying to do was get credit cards, lines of credit, debt. I was trying to get loans and funding for my business. The problem is, once I started getting these things, because there was a time I did have them, I did get them a lot. What happened was, once I started spending my credit and spending my money that I got from debt and had to pay these bills every month, I realized that my business was over leveraged because I wasn't making enough sales to justify the money that I got with credit and debt. Does that make sense? So you don't want to do it over leveraged. What you want to do is learn how to generate revenue through sales. You want to learn how to generate revenue through sales. In order for you to generate revenue through sales, well, you have to have some type of products and services that can sell. And you have to be willing and able to market those products and services so that they can sell. And you've got to have offers that are good enough, and you've got to be willing to like really grind it out and bang it out and just do it on a daily basis until you can generate revenue through sales, because now you will depend on sales for money to come to your business, not credit and debt. So when I say don't do business over leveraged, I'm not saying not to have credit and debt. I'm saying not to have so much that you are burdened and over leveraged. Now you don't know how to generate sales. And because you don't know how to generate sales or generate enough sales, you can't even afford to pay the bills from your credit cards and your loans because you haven't figured the sales thing out. If you learn to figure the sales thing out, you won't need as much credit and debt, or you won't be over leveraged with it even when you use it, okay? Now, not only do I not want you to be over leveraged with credit and debt, but I don't want you to be over leveraged with ideas either, or products. Because I know a lot of entrepreneurs that they over leverage themselves with ideas. So that means you start a business and then you got like 1,000 ideas. Figure out which one idea you can take, turn that one idea to a product or a service and go sell it. That's what you got to get good at doing. All that other stuff is for the birds. And people that tell you all this other stuff, I'm not saying that they 100% wrong. What I'm saying is they might be right, but they're partial. Because when you start a business, if you don't want to be over leveraged with credit, with debt, and with ideas, or with a whole lot of products that you can't do nothing with, you got to learn how to find a product and a service and sell it. This is what you need to be over leveraged doing. You need to be over leveraged selling stuff. I always tell this to my staff. We got to sell products and services. This is why you're in business. You're in business to make sales. You're in business to make money. You're in business to make profits. And of course, you're serving a purpose. Of course, you're helping people. Of course, you're changing lives. Of course, you're doing good to the world. Of course, you're being a blessing to people. Of course, you're creating opportunities for your family and for your community. But all of that needs to be centered around sales, all right? So don't do it over leverage. Do not over leverage yourself with credit. Don't over leverage yourself with credit. Just because you can get it don't mean you need it. Do not over leverage yourself with debt. A whole lot of loans, just because you can get it don't mean you need it. Don't over leverage yourself with ideas. You just need to find a couple good ideas that you have and figure out how you can turn those couple ideas into products and services, and then you need to sell them. That's what you need to focus on, selling them. Don't over leverage yourself with products. So you don't need to have 100 different products and services in your business when you're just getting started. You need to focus on creating something good enough that it can sell. You need a winner. You need a star. You need some type of signature product or program that you can use so that you can make money. All right? That's number 2. Here's my third one. Number 3. Number 3. Don't do it alone. Don't do it alone. When it comes to business, you should not be doing business alone. Okay? You should not be doing business alone. Now, what do I mean when I say don't do it alone? Here is what I mean. You need moral support. You need moral support. Okay? You need moral support. You need to have people around you that can give you moral support when you're starting a business. When you're trying to build your business, you need a lot of moral support. I'm telling you, like, I appreciate the people I got around me. I got people in front of me, I got people behind me, I got people beside me, I got people under me, above me, I got people everywhere. So at any point, I can draw from the moral support of the people that I got around me when I get tired, when I get, frustrated, when I get weary, when I feel like I don't have the strength to keep going. I've got people who can give me moral support. Because I'm in the faith community, I'm a minister, I'm in the church, that moral support a lot of times is really spiritual support. You get what I'm saying? So it ain't just moral support, like regular moral support. I get a lot of spiritual support. I get people who pray for me, who fast for me, who give me that spiritual strength that I need. So moral support is another word for spiritual, for those of you who are really spiritual. Like, I'm a part of the spiritual community, so I'm big on my faith. I'm big on God. I'm big on Jesus. I'm big on the Holy Ghost. I'm big on prayer. I'm big on people laying hands on me, speaking over me, giving me that encouragement. I want that all the time, and I get it all the time. I don't care what nobody else wants. I want it all the time. I can't have it enough. I want moral support, but I also want spiritual support, because you cannot do it alone. All right? There are other types of support that you need as well. You need physical support. Don't do it alone. So you shouldn't be doing business alone. You need physical support. But a lot of times, in order for you to have physical support, like, let's say if you need somebody like me to support you. Oh, Ramonepreston is a coach. He's a business consultant. He's a financial educator. He has information and programs. But how do I get him to support me? How do I get him to mentor me? How do I get him to connect with me? Well, maybe you have to join one of my programs. It's okay, because there are people who I connect with, and I can't just call them and say, hey, I want to connect with you. How do I connect with them? I connect with them through the programs and the services that they provide. Because through me doing business with them, that shows them that I'm serious about making a connection to them. So you need physical support. You need people in your life who can undergird you and be present with you. This is the physical part of not doing it alone. I want people doing it with me. I want to be a part of a community. I want to be a part of a mastermind. You know, a lot of times when I sit with my mentors and the people who are teaching and training me on things that can help me become a billionaire at some point in my life, right? I'm in a room with other people who physically show up, and it helps me to want to show up. It encourages me to show up. So you don't do it alone. You want to have moral and spiritual support. You want to have physical support, and you want intellectual support. So that means you want to get around people who know more than you. You want to have the smartest people in your life, especially the people who know about the things that you're trying to figure out. Like, I have learned one of the biggest hacks, and I didn't always know this because I'm like a strong-willed person. You know, I have an ego. I'm prideful. I take pride in what I'm capable of doing as a man. And so I didn't always know how important it was to like really bring people into my life who could show me the way because they know more than me. I didn't always understand that. Okay, so whether I was just ignorant of it, blind to it, or just rebellious, I didn't want it. Either way, I didn't have it at many points in my life. And because I didn't have this type of support, I did a lot of things alone. And so when I be telling my story a lot of times that, oh, I ain't know this, I ain't know that, I had to figure it out, it wasn't because the information wasn't available. It was because I didn't put myself in a position to get the kind of support I needed. So I think in my business career, I've always had moral and spiritual support because I've always been a part of the community of faith since I've been a business owner. But I haven't always had physical and intellectual support. And it's not because it wasn't available. So when I be saying stuff like, oh, I just had to scrap it out and it was hard for me and I had to figure it out. Well, it's because I wanted that, or I chose that. Because I could have chose a different route. I could have chose, you know what, let me just pay to get in front of the right people. Let me just join a program. I didn't do that. I felt like I could do it by myself. But the problem was it slowed my progress down. It hindered me from getting further quicker. And so now, just within the last couple of years, since I've made different connections to different people, to be physically around certain people, and to have the access to the intelligence about growing a multi-million-dollar organization and even to a billion-dollar organization, I realized that, oh my God, if I would have had this the last 15 years, I would have been further along. I'd have been so far along. So I want to encourage you not to do it alone, okay? So those are my do's and my don'ts. I want to know, if you've been watching today's show the whole time, I want to know what your biggest takeaway is so far. I want to know, what did you hear today that just resonated with you? Because I've given you my top 3 do's and don'ts for starting a business, okay? My first one was, do it right the first time. You need to do it right the first time. Start your business the right way the first time. Make sure you have a holding company and make sure you have operating companies. Number 2, do it where you are. Don't wait until you pivot into another career or until you get a certain investment back or return on what you did 2 years ago. Do it where you are. Just do it where you are, even geographically. Number 3, do it quickly. Don't wait, hesitate, procrastinate until next year. Do it now so you can be better prepared next year. Think about if you started doing some things today and you worked on them for the rest of this year. By the time you get into 2023, you're going to be further along because you did it quickly. You didn't wait to move. Here are the 3 don'ts. Number 1, don't do it just for a purpose. Don't do it just for a purpose. you also have to do it for a profit. The purpose of business is to make a profit. That's why you're in business. If you don't want to do it for a profit and you just so focused on, oh, I got a purpose. I just love to cook. I love to clean. I love to this. I love to that. Or I just love people and I just want to help and blah, blah, blah. Well, start a charity. Don't call it a business. Start a charity. So don't do it just for a purpose. Number two, don't do it over leveraged. Don't over leverage yourself with credit, with debt, with ideas, and with products. I'm not saying not to leverage, but don't over leverage. And number three, don't do it alone. You need the moral support of people. You need spiritual support. You need physical support. You need intellectual support. You need to surround yourself with people who can help you get further quicker. That's one of the biggest hacks of my business life as an entrepreneur. One of the biggest hacks that I've embraced and I use more than I ever have in my life now is I just pay to get around people who know more than me, and I just figure out what they know and I take it and I use it, and it just makes life easier for me. It's like one of the best things ever happened to me. This is why I'm always trying to hire people in my business. I'm trying to build my staff and my team, and I'm trying to find new people to help me with different things, because I realize I can take money and I can pay people to give me information and they can help me get so far so quick. It's the best thing that ever happened to me, because there was a time I wanted to keep all the money to myself and I did all the work and I never got anywhere. It didn't work that way. So I want to help you. So if you know you need some support, you need some help, if you're working on putting your business together, we've got educational programs to help you. We've got coaching programs that can help you, and maybe you need a little bit of both. I don't know where you are. Maybe you're just starting a business, or you already started it, but you're still working on trying to get your products and services, polished up. Maybe you're trying to start and structure your holding company, or you have systems and processes you're trying to figure out how to create to make your business more automated, more efficient, more systematic. I want to help you with that, because this is what we do. We educate people on how to do those things, how to start, how to structure, so you can scale your business. And all you need to do is text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. If you text the word millionaire to that number, I'm going to reach back out to you, or one of my team members will reach back out to you today, and we'll just take a few minutes to ask you a few questions just to see where you are in your business. Have you started one yet? If you haven't, when do you want to start it? If you have, do you have the right systems and processes yet? Do you need help with those things? And we can show you how we can help you so that you can go ahead and take this next 3 months of this final quarter and put everything together so you can start crushing it. Now, again, I do have a big purpose, and a part of my purpose is I want you to succeed. I want the people in my community to win. I want you to be free. I want you to be financially free. I want you to be professionally free. I want you to be economically free. But I know it's going to require you putting yourself in a position to educate, to train, and to invest the time and the effort that's needed to make that education and training work for you. So I want you to text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. Today is Monday, October the 3rd, 2022. We are now in the fourth quarter of this year, and we are preparing to crush it on all levels, and I want you to be a part of it, okay? So if you have any questions, reach out to us, text that number, call that number, give me some feedback. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was or is on this show today. And I want you to put that in the comments. And don't forget, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page and follow me on all those other platforms. You can follow me on TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. All of those platforms, you will find me at Ramonepreston. All right? I love all of you. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining the show on this beautiful Millionaire Monday. I'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time, 12 o'clock noon Eastern, right here on the Ramonepreston Show. Until tomorrow,